Now that we've imported the data for our phrase builder rule for verbs, we could continue going verse by verse and generating these one at a time. And that would be perfectly fine. Generated text is identical to documents text. But we've imported enough data to go through all of the verbs. So let's go to this screen where we can do more than one sentence at a time. Let's go to from Nouns 1.1 to Verbs 127. And we want to set this up to save the text as we're generating it. You have three options here: save the text, or compare new text with saved text. This is for when after you've already generated the text and you want to see if your edited grammar rules produce better text or worse text. For now, we want to save the text. And okay, by the way, this is yellow when you're saving the text. It's red. This really slows the system down, but you occasionally need to do this, record references and rules. So now it's red to warn you. We don't want to do that now. So let's generate these verses, and I'll do a time lapse. Okay, it's finished. And we immediately see that we have a problem here. We shouldn't say the John. Proper names don't take articles like that. Let's go over here and let's set this up to see the English. Check this box down here, display corresponding English audiences. And let's check this box, compare saved text with Word document. This goes back to the Word document that your MTTs translated, where your MTTs translated all these sentences. So if we say this, okay, so now it shows us in red all the places that have issues, where TBTA's translation doesn't match the MTTs. If you want to see the MTTs from the Word doc, you can either look in the Word document or right-click and display the translation from the Word document. Okay, so if we go to the verbs, okay, so our main problem is we shouldn't have the word the before John. So let's go edit our rule. Here, let's go like this. Display this first in the Lexicon and Grammar Development view. And if we say generate, okay, this word, so if I rest my cursor here, this shows, the pop-up shows the history of this word. And you see at the very top, inserted by, spell out rule, nouns, generic, rule 1, layer 1, row 3. We can say right-click, display list of rules that applied, layer 1, row 3. So right here, this is why that the was inserted. So what we need to do, we need to add another row for proper nouns. You may remember from that previous video series, when a phrase builder rule is executed, it starts with the back layer first. So it'll start with layer 3. Check the cell. If the cell matches, then it will check the rows. And wherever it finds a match, it will use the last match in the row, in the rule. So wherever is the last rule that matches, that's what will be used. So if we add another row down here, and if it matches, then TBTA will use this row instead of this row. So let's add another row. We'll say singular. And we need to specify the features. Okay, we don't yet have a feature for nouns indicating whether each noun is proper or common. So before we can do this rule, we need to go back to our lexicon and add that feature. So let's go to our lexicon, nouns, features, new feature, and we always put our most commonly used value first because it will be used as the default. And most nouns in English are common, and then proper. And let's make a comment. Okay. So the first value is used for all of these nouns. Let's set the proper nouns. Okay, John, that's proper. And June is proper. is proper. Peter is proper. Turpin is proper. Okay, that's all. So now we have that feature available, and we can write rules that use that feature. So we'll go back to this rule, and now we can say add row, call it proper. I'm including singular because we may have a plural form of a noun, probably not in the Bible, but maybe in other texts. We can say there are two Jerusalems, an earthly Jerusalem and a heavenly Jerusalem. So it's possible. So we'll say proper singular. And now we can say, okay, singular, and now this feature is here, proper. And we'll choose the singular form, which is the stem, and we'll leave this cell blank. And since this will match with John, instead of using this row, row number 3, instead, TBTA, we'll use this row, row number 8, because it always uses the last row that matches. Now while we're here, let's add another one, proper plural. We'll say plural, proper, and we'll say the plural form. And again, we'll leave this blank. So now when we generate this verse, John walked. We no longer get the article. Generated text is identical to documents text. So now let's go back. That will fix a lot of our verses. This time let's compare. Instead of saving, let's compare. And I'll do another time lapse. Okay, this time we were comparing the newly generated text with the saved text. And we can see that in every case, the new text is better. Instead of saying the John, our new grammar, our current version of our grammar, says just John, if we look at all of these. So let's go and save all of these. Replace the saved text for all these verses with the new text. And now let's go back and okay, so we still have some problems here. Now let's go to the verbs. Okay, it looks much better. John shouldn't walk. John shouldn't walk. Okay, what does it say in the Word document? John should not walk. Okay, sometimes the MTTs will translate things in a way that's good, but different. So let's go edit the document. In this case, I was the MTT. So let's go back to our Word document. That's Verbs 118. Okay, scroll down to Verbs 118. John, let's change the Word document. John shouldn't walk. And we'll save that. And to get a new copy, we'll uncheck this and then, okay, so now this one is fine. So, what's going on here? John is walking. John is walking. Okay, why didn't that one work? Let's go. I'll display this. Okay, this is imperfective. It's present. Present imperfective. Okay. It disappeared. Okay, about halfway down we see walk deleted by spell out rule of verbs, generic. Layer 2, row 37, imperfective aspect. Layer 2, row 37. Layer 2, row 37. Imperfective aspect. Oh, I see. Okay, this is past imperfective, future negative imperfective, but we don't have present imperfective. If you look here, by the way, we should always use target tense and form, target aspect and target mood, not the time aspect and mood. The reason for that is because occasionally we'll change the values of target tense and form and we'll change the values of target aspect or target mood, but it's very nice to keep those original values, to preserve those original values, the original time aspect and mood values. So our rules should always use target tense and form, target aspect and target mood, not time aspect and mood. So we look here, and target tense and form is present and target aspect is imperfective. So let's add a row in here that applies to present tense. I'm going to click on this row and let's say make a copy. So copy row, yes, and we always put it down below. Okay, last time this row applied. As long as we add a new row below this row, then it will be the new row that will match. So this will be present imperfective. Present imperfective. So for target tense and form, instead of saying past, we're going to say present, and we'll delete that. So present imperfective. Okay. So it'll choose the participle form, and it will use was. John, okay, for present, well, okay, we actually want the word is here. And here's where things get a little bit complicated in English. This is only for third singular. If it's I am walking, you are walking, he is walking, we are walking, all of you are walking, and they are walking. For now, this will work fine. But we'll need to come back here later and address this issue. This is really only for third singular present. John is walking. Okay, generated text is identical to documents text. So we'll save this, and let's go back and see where our other issues are. Okay, so now all of these are fine. John sat. John was sitting. Let's go look at this one. John was sitting. Okay. Okay. This one is a backgrounded action. See the salience band? Backgrounded actions. And we actually have a section in that Word document for backgrounded actions, but I don't recommend importing that table. Let's go ahead and we'll fix this one, and then that will be enough for this video. Let's add a new layer for backgrounded action. Let's say add layer. We'll call it salience bands. There are two salience bands that we quite often use. Here they are. We use backgrounded action and flashback. These others we don't use very much. So this will go up in the upper left corner, meaning for this layer to apply, this is layer number 6, the sentence has to be either a backgrounded action or flashback. Let's call this backgrounded action. So that's a clause, so backgrounded action right there. John was sitting. If it's present and backgrounded, John is sitting, so we'll say past. And we'll choose the participle. Let's say add column. Let's let's make sure that name matches the other layers. Okay, preverbal 1. Okay, preverbal. So it does match these. Preverbal. Let's move this column. Okay, so now it precedes the verb. And John was sitting. Okay. That should fix this one. John was sitting. Generated text is identical to documents text. Okay. Okay, so these are looking good. We'll fix the rest of these in the next video.